In this video, I'll be grading another scene from the fashion film. When I'm done, I will save it as a power grade, so you can use this even outside this particular project. Let's talk, let's do more color, and I'll see you in the software. This is another frame from, or another clip from the fashion film. If you've not seen it, please do watch it on the Anko Instagram, and you can watch it on my Instagram also at the Lazy Filmmaker. So let me play this first so we see what we're working with. Alright, so this is what we were grading before. And let's say everything goes from here and it goes into our most recent shot, this one. So it's the same film, so it needs to feel like a bit cohesive, even though it's a different look. It's night, it's colder. We're going for the, bluish vibe. Initially, we had like warm vibes here, Now we're going to go like very cold, just to contrast what she's wearing. But that doesn't mean I can't take or I can't steal things from the grade that we've had before. So let's say, so what I would do ideally is when I'm done with this, when I'm done with grading stuff, what I usually do is I grab it and I do something called grab a still. Not still, a still. Still. A still image, yes. So I'm going to grab a still image. So what I need to do is, if I open this gallery, for example, I've already done some. Let me delete this once. So we can see newly. So if I delete this ones, for example, and I right click here and I say grab still. So it will grab a still for me, and I can use this as a reference point when I'm grading other things, or if I want to just copy like the exact, effect and the grade and the node structure, I can just right click this and say apply grade to my new footage. So let me grab a still for this one also, grab still. Then when I come to this shot, for example, there are different ways where I can copy the grade over. Is that I click this, what I want to, the grade, the footage I want to grade, and come to a shot like this and right click and say apply grade. So it transfers everything onto this new one. Or I can also do the same thing. Or I can also come here and do the same thing. You can see when I'm hovering over it, you can see what's happening. It's showing me what it will look like if I apply this. So I'm going to apply it anyways. And let's start working back from there. Then when I'm done, I will show you how you can even save these looks and make it appear in all your other projects that's outside this project. So let's grade this shot together. By now you guys should be used to my, my workflow. I've already done like the input display transform, which is taking the shot from S-Log3, Sunny S Gamut Cine, S-Log3 to like Davinci Word Gamut. Then I've done the output, which is inside this compound node. The output goes from Davinci Wide Gamut to Rec 709 and Cineon Film Log. The reason why I did Cineon Film Log again is because I want to use this film look, which is a Kodak 2383. So if I come here, in case I'm speeding too much, it's because I've done 2 videos showing my process. So you guys can watch that one before you watch this one. And you can also pause this video and, just steal the settings, and it's okay, just follow through. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to be in the comments to talk about it. This time around, I want to use the D65 because I'm kind of going for a colder look. So let's change that. D65. So this was the thing I put in the compound node. It's just my ODT, which is the Davinci Wide Gamut to the Rec 709. This is the color space I like to work in. So coming back out, I'm going to reset everything again, like reset all my balance, reset my contrast, reset my saturation, just reset my exposure. Also reset this HSL. So what's the point of doing everything if I'm still going to reset it? The point is, I already have like the node structure. I'm going to keep the global disable for now. I'm going to keep the halation disable for now. Look adjustments, I'm going to reset. Now I'm going to rebuild. Noise remover is there. I can keep that. So I go to my IDT is okay. So I'm going to go exposure to contrast to saturation. Again, saturation that I like to use is called HSV, and it's just more denser than the average saturation that you just push. So what you do is come to color space, HSV, come here, channels, remove the channel 1 and channel 3. Then you use your midtone to saturate. Right? We'll get to that in a second. So I'm just going to undo that for now. So let's start with our exposure. This shot looks dark because yes, it was shot in that way to also keep and retain the information. So I'm going to reset the exposure and start from scratch. So reset. Good. So offset, I'm going to raise the entire shot with the offsets. While we're doing that, let's look at our waveform. I don't want to raise it too much because again, this is supposed to be dark, but I want to raise it enough to see the background without starting to introduce noise. It was raining on the day, so what you're seeing in the background is actually rain, not necessarily noise. So this is good. We can see our face, which is what is more important. Then I can start raising the midtones, bringing the highlights down, taking the shadows down, just basically massaging and finding a good spot for how I want the shot to look. So this is before, this is after. Before and after. Can go up on the highlight a bit more. Before and after. This is a rich shot. I like it. Before and after. Now let's move to contrast. Give it some contrast, then use the pivots or pivots. I think it's called pivots. You guys should let me know, pivot or pivots. But you get the point. P-I-V-O-T. Pronounce as you wish. So raise that just to see where you want the skin to sit and when you want every other thing like the shadows and the highlights to stay. Again, in case you guys are wondering what I'm doing, I'm using the control surface because it makes life faster for me. But this is what I was doing. Contrast is here and then pivot is here. Okay, so that's exactly what I was doing. I have those things mapped here on the control panel. It doesn't make you a better colorist, like I always say. It just makes you a faster colorist, and it helps you to like do many things at the same time. So with this, I can do like highlights down, midtones up at the same time. If I was using a mouse, I have to do one first, do highlights first, then go to do midtones, which just slows me down. So this is where we were before. This is where we are now. The shot is looking good already. We've not done too much. Now go to the HSV saturation. Instead of using normal saturation, which is going to be like this. Oops, okay, it's not going to work now because I've changed this setting. But what you need to do instead of using the normal saturation is you use your gamma and you move the wheels, and that becomes, that just becomes your saturation. You can see how everything is becoming saturated just with using gamma. So when you use your gamma wheel in the HSV mode, it just really helps. Your colors are just better. It looks denser. It doesn't look like digital. It looks filmic. And that's what we're trying to go for when we're doing color grading. We want things to look cinematic and filmic. So you see, I'm still massaging my contrast. I'm going to saturation. I'm going to take it down a bit. I don't want too much. And you can see this shot is already popping. It's looking really, really, really good. I'm happy. I'm going to increase the noise remover a bit, just so this shot can look cleaner. Yep, you can see how much our face looks cleaner now. Just going to increase a bit, because that's what we're going for. It's a fashion film. It needs to look like super clean, super like, the skin is flawless. Everything looks pink. And this already is good enough. I can leave it here. I can say this is good, but you can also push more colors and, separate things a bit more. So let's do the balance and see where we're at. Right now, this image looks balanced to me. There's nothing wrong. If I check the skin by clicking this qualifier tool and bringing my mouse over our skin, I can see our skin is sitting just a little bit to the red on the color line, which is not bad at all because it doesn't need to sit 100% like I always say. If you guys can't see this, what you need to do is come here and say show skin indicator. You can see show skin indicator, and then it will show you. Then also, if you don't see this thing, this qualifier thing showing on your vector scope, I think there's somewhere here where you go display qualifier focus. If you toggle this on, you will be good. So let's move this thing a bit to, let's come to color. And let's just move this guy a little bit towards the yellow. So let's remove some red, or let's introduce some yellow to the shot. Yep. Just so the skin kind of moves a little bit more to the center, which is good. This looks really beautiful. Now let's move on to the HSL. Again, if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. HSL is Hue, Saturation, Luminance. Basically, what you do here is you select your color. You can decide how saturated the color is, which is saturation. You can decide how bright or dark that certain color is, which is luminance. and you can decide if you want to switch that color to a different color, which is hue. So it's hue, saturation, and luminance, HSL. So basically what it does is, if I come, let me use my mouse now, if I come here and I choose the hue versus hue and I select red, I can decide how I want the red to appear. Do I want the red to turn to another color? So if I move it down, you can see everything red in the shot is looking different now. She's looking like whatever this is, So this is me affecting the reds, right? That is hue. In the same place, I can come to hue versus saturation and say I want the reds to be less saturated. So by pushing the reds down, you can see what's going on. It's almost black and white, which is a nice vibe, by the way. Ooh, this looks good. So if that's what you're going for, this will be your look. That's not what we're going for today. The client will be upset if I do that. Now, what I'm trying to do is just try to create more separation. So I've shown you guys, and let me show you the luminance bit. So let's say luminance, hue versus luminance, which is like the third or fourth one. Let's do the blue this time around. If I click the blue and I push the blue up and down, you might not see much now because instead of blue, there's teal. So let me push the teal. If you look at the shot, you can see what's going on in the background. Things are changing, things are becoming darker or brighter. Let me use the reds. I think the reds will show you better. If I push the res luminance down, you can see the res is getting darker. If I push it up, everything red is becoming brighter. So that's what that does. You basically can recreate looks with that. You can use it to like massage your footage and just move things around as much as you want. But what I'll be doing here is I want to kind of create more separation, make things look a bit more crisp and more cinematic. I know I've used that word a lot, but yeah, blame the industry, not me. Before I do that, let me put on the halation. Let me see what it's doing. Let me put on the glow. Let me see what the glow is doing. I'm not a fan of the glow right now. Let me see if I can take it down a bit so it doesn't bother me too much. Not sure what it's doing, but let's see. Let's move the spread around. Okay, there's a pop that is given, which I like. Yeah, something like this. I like the way it's, it looks like a picture. So I'm just going to reduce it a bit, so we don't want too much of that. This is it. It just pops the image a bit, and I can live with that. So I've put everything that I've already created in the other shot so that things can be a bit more consistent. I'm going to go down saturation a bit. This shot looks a bit too saturated. My face was already looking too digital. So let's go to HSL and see what we can do with HSL. The first thing I will want to work on right here is the blue. Let me go to the hue versus hue and kind of make it a bit more, more tealish, So not this way, something like this. Yeah. So before and after, very mild, but it's right there. Before and after. This is still before and after. It's like almost, it looks paint-like, and that's what I'm going for. I'm going to move the blues also. You guys can see that what I'm doing is showing in the, it's showing right here in the color curves. I'm also going to move the cloth a bit, so it's looking too poplish. So I'm just going to make it go towards the reds a bit. So before and after. Before and after. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there. Let me show you again. This is before. This is after. This is before, after. Very mild. I'm going to work on the greens and see if I can make the greens go into yellow. Reason being that there's yellow in the plants and there's green. I just want them to like not be distracting. I want my focus on my character. So I'm moving the greens. If you look at I'm moving the greens towards yellow. Look at the green leaves now. Before, you can see some greens were in the plants. That's my mouse. So if you see full viewer, so you can see look at this area, some greens were here, and then after, pushed it towards yellow, just so things can look more uniform, less distracting. I'm going to come and desaturate those greens also. I don't want them to be, I'm going to desaturate the blues also. I don't want them to look too much like it's a painting. So before and after. Very mild changes. I'm going to go to hue versus luminance. Hue versus luminance. I'm going to select the blue and darken it a bit. Darken the blues a bit. I don't want them too bright. Let me see what I can do with the reds. I push them up. Okay, darken them a bit so that they can have that pop. Raise up the yellows a bit because that's what our face is in. this looks awesome, right? See, we're almost done. The look is almost done. Before and after, before and after. So I'm going to go down and take down some of this noise remover. It's just a bit too plasticish. It's too much. I want some details back in the shots. This is better. Then take this down to, like, let's say 2. And don't ask me what my settings are for noise remover. I just go with what I think looks good. I'm going to keep some of it 3. Because it was raining, and I think the noise remover is removing the rain in the background because it thinks it's noise, so I don't want that. So yeah. So this is what my shot looks like. To be honest, I will pack this here any day, anytime. There's something that's bothering me. This top is too colorful. So, and it's bothering me so much. So I'm going to come back to the HSL and take down the reds. No, sorry, that's not hue versus hue. I'm going to hue versus saturation and take down the reds. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to take it down a bit more. Sorry, I'm going to check if something is wrong with this guy. No wonder. I noticed that something was wrong. It was giving me brightness and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to just act like saturation. So, yeah, that was very weird. I'm going to reset this and do it all over. Color space, HSV saturation. Come here. Color, channel 1 out. Here, channel 3 done. So this should just saturate and not raise your exposure for any reason. So now I'm going to balance this back and take the highlights down, take this back up, crush the shadows a bit. This needs to stay dark. Then I'm going to do the power windows. Yeah, just to create that vignette around it. So power windows created this window around my talents and the model. Then I darkened everything around her. So that's basically like relighting the shots. You're telling the software that, let me show you. So everything outside, everything that is showing here should be darkened while you retain the middle. So if I remove it, if I do before and after, this is before and this is after. Let me show field viewer and this is before and this is after. So it just helps to like make your eye go straight to what I need to go to. There's something I'm going to add to this shot just because I know fully well that it's in a sequence of the other shots. I want it to kind of match. So I'm going to, come on. I'm going to try to warm it up just a little bit by adding some yellow. There you go. And that will be my shots. If I preview this, if I go to the next clip before and back here, we have a shot that works. I can work on the skin if I want. I don't think it's necessary, but let's do it for sake of tutorials. So I'm going to select the skin by clicking on this qualifier and selecting the skin. So select the skin, do like highlights, make sure you see what you've selected. Clean up your selection by coming here and, removing every other color that is not on your color range. I just want the skin, but again, the reds are going to show because the skin is in the red zone also. So I'm trying to clean it up as much as possible to remove some of the clots. So to do that and make it, just prioritize the skin only and not really go into like the dress, I would have to draw a power window across her face. So I'm going to draw a circular window across her face, reduce it, make sure it's just on the face, feather it out, so that whatever I do, then I'll come here and track it. I hope you guys are following, and in case I'm too quick for you, that might be because you're new to Davinci Resolve and you don't understand the interface, and that's okay. I'm going to do a couple more videos, bringing things, taking things from scratch and showing you how, the principles of color management, building a node tree. But I just want to get you excited and let you see that if you follow this step by step, it's very easy. There's nothing complicated that you have to do in color. It's just you're looking at it, making very informed decisions and making sure you don't overcomplicate things. All right, so I'm done tracking now. I'm just going to like look at my track. If I play back now, you can see that the window is, glued to her face. So that's what happens when you track. Now I can decide to soften her face by coming to mid-tone detail and just soften the face as much as I want. Let me remove this now. you know. So before, you can see the highlights. See how the light is ash on her face. Look at this point and after. Before and after. And I can take the highlights down a bit more. So you can see clearly now. Let's say before and after. Before and after. I'm a fan of always checking, always checking your before and after to be sure that you're on the right path. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to her face. Just a little bit more. Just so she can pop a bit more. Again, I'll probably not do this for film, but for a commercial or for a fashion video, it's all about the pop most of the time. You need things to pop, so you don't play with your pop. Previous videos, I did a video about, color grading and color correction. The second one was about shot matching, and this one is a different scene entirely. I'm not shot matching here. I'm basically carrying the grade and creating like a cohesive look across the entire timeline. So this is me still grading a shot that's supposed to be a part of a film that I've graded, but the scene looks different. It's a night scene, it's darker, but I'm still trying to keep the same, the same DNA, the same look and the vibe. So I'm done now. I will leave this here for the sake of tutorials. Let me take down the shadows. Let me take down this a bit. This looks very good. I'm very happy with it. I'm sure the client will be happy with it also. I'm going to take the power window and just bring it down a bit so we see the dress. Yeah, we see the lower part of the dress also. We don't want to lose that detail. So this is good. We're good now. Let's assume I've sent the client some of the looks and they're very, very stoked. They're excited about it. It's time to like finish this. I'm going to check again one last time, see my shots and say, okay, yeah, we look consistent across board. Everything looks good. We're going to do a quick play now and just see what we look like. Just imagine, boom, 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 dum 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 dum. What is time? Yeah, that's from the original film. If you've not seen this film, you need to go to my Instagram, the Lazy Filmmaker. Follow me and then watch this film. It's an amazing film. I'm super proud of it. So now I'm done, and let's say I'm done. I'm ready to export this. Let me save this as uncode-graded. Save this project. What I would do before I wrap up every project is I will create another. I will grab a still. So I'll right click this shot and say grab still. So right now I have 3 stills. I have this, I have this, I have this, and this, and these are stills from. And stills are like, it's like saving a preset from a grade, so you can always recall them and use them later. So what I would do now is, just because there's a chance I might be working on a similar project and I want to use these stills, what I need to do is to save this as a power grade. Right now, it is saved here in the gallery as in the stills folder. If I come here and, just toggle that window, if you toggle this, you will see stills. I can rename this stills album, right? But let's leave it this way. You see stills here, then you see power grade 1, and it's saying no stills created, right? Now, I have moved one of the stills from my stills into a power grid. I can also come here, move this one, then move this one here. Now, the difference between the stills folder and the power grid folder is, in the stills folder, everything there is from your project, right? So when you open your project, you will see all those stills. They're like saved screenshots, basically. They're like screenshots, but they're not just screenshots because they contain information, color information. The difference with the power grid is, even if you're in a different project entirely, you will still see these stills. And the reason why I want to do that is there's a chance I'm grading something that's familiar to this or similar to this. I might be grading something similar to this tomorrow, maybe a night scene that has this kind of ambience. All I have to do is go to my power grades and just apply grade. And I can tweak things to much better. So instead of building looks from scratch every time, you can always save your looks in a power grade and also have them in still. So what I would do again is I will save here, grab still, grab still, and grab still. So I've got stills now in my stills folder, and I've got the same stills in my power grid folder. So I can use them for my project here, and I can use them for other projects in the power grid folder. And it's as simple as that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you're struggling with in your color grade and how I can be of help. How do you want me to help you? What software do you use? I'm sure you probably use Premiere Pro or Final Cut, or you're actually like me and you love Davinci Resolve. Let me know in the comment section. And if you want some of these clips to practice, please let me know in the comment section, and I would, probably upload it and you can have access to it. Also, I'll be happy to see your work. So if you've done anything with any of these clips, please tag me on social media. Like my Instagram is the Lazy Filmmaker, and on YouTube is the Lazy Filmmaker. On TikTok is the Lazy Filmmaker. Please consider subscribing. Like this video, share with a friend, and I'll see you in the next one.